Keep going to the gym, do not stop, or bad things will happen. No, I don't want to lose any of my limbs, thank you very much. I have no hobbies or pastimes, I just work all the time. I'm Naheed Nenshi, I'm leader of Alberta's New Democrats. Well, full-time politician means full time, because there are always more events to go to every evening, every weekend. And so what you really have to do is make sure that you're pacing yourself and also make sure that you're not just focused on the crisis of the day, on whatever's on fire in front of you, but that you're actually be able to think of the big picture and you're actually able to think about what's going on 3, 6, 12 months going forward. And that is really hard because there is something in front of you on fire every single day. Oh, I'm one of those weird people who really enjoyed high school. I had a lot of fun. I did every club and every leadership thing you could do, and just had a great time. And I did well in school, so that was great. I actually enjoyed most of my classes, but probably the thing I enjoyed the most was drama class. I was an actor. And so I got the chance to play Oberon in A Midsummer Night's Dream, and I really liked being an actor. And when I got to university, I started by taking some drama courses, even though I was a business student. I was on a main stage production at the university in my first year, which nobody really does. I had all of one line in a play, and I realized, oh, I'm not very good at this, and I better stop. So I regret not continuing that, but that was always good fun. I didn't really dislike anything, though I will tell you, there were certain parts of phys ed that I was very bad at. And to this day, I can't really do an effective pull-up. Oh my goodness, I am addicted to my phone. I should be a Gen Z teenager. And I get nervous when it's not with me, and I have to train myself to be present and not to be on screens all the time, but to be present with people in the room. But it's hard. And I will tell you that on all these drives back and forth across the whole province, I listen to the radio. And I love CBC radio. I feel like I learn things I have no right to know, but it's a great benefit to the country to have that. I have no hobbies or pastimes. I just work all the time, which is true. But I do love the theater. I love going to plays. And so if you're a Calgarian, you've likely seen me at the theater, whether it's high school productions to professional shows. That's the one thing I like doing. And so, even as I'm traveling to Edmonton so much, I try to squeeze in plays where I can. But I haven't been to a movie in a long time. And I do love movies, and I'm now 2 Marvel movies behind. So I've got to catch up. Oh my gosh, I'm a movie file. I love the film festivals. I love to do things. So I will go from everything from total mainstream movies to really obscure art films. Probably my favorite film of all time is called The Barbarian Invasions, Les Invasions Barbares, by Daniel Kahn, the Quebec film maker. But I also love all Marvel movies. I've seen every one except the last 2. And my favorite Marvel show is Ms. Marvel, which I think is a great representation of Muslim life in North America. And by a woman from my religious community plays the lead, which is pretty cool. She's the second most famous Ismaili after me. No, she's way more famous than me. Oh, I tried to reinvent myself before I got back into politics as a books guy, someone who was trying to find time for reading. And so I was on a national show called Canada Reads, where you pitch a book, and there's 5 books, and you try to get every Canadian to read it. And the book that I pitched went from selling just a few hundred copies to being one of the top best-selling Canadian books last year, and I'm really proud of that. And I recommend it to everyone. It's called Denison Avenue by Christina Wong and Daniel Innes. And it is a story about Toronto's Chinatown, part short novel, part graphic novel with no words. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece, and it'll make you think very differently about the people you meet on the streets in downtown anywhere. Favorite food? Oh, I love everything. I love spicy food. These days, I find myself often with a craving for good Thai food. A good green chicken curry always makes me happy. I was a professor before I was a politician, and that was a world that suited me pretty well. But I remember when I was in high school, I recently found a little clipping of me from grade 12. And they said, what are the 3 roles you think you would do? And I said, well, I either want to be a lawyer or a journalist or a teacher. And I ended up doing none of those things for a long time. I started and did not finish law school because I decided I'd much rather be a practitioner than a lawyer. But many years later of doing different careers, I found myself as a frequent media commentator and columnist and a professor in a business school. So out of the three things that I said I would do in grade 12, I ended up doing two of them. To my younger self, what I would say is, hey, that body you had when you were 20, you want to hang on to that. It doesn't stay. Keep going to the gym, do not stop, or bad things will happen. Oh, what a good question. I have so many. One that immediately comes to mind is Mahatma Gandhi saying, be the change you want to see in the world. Or Margaret Mead saying, never doubt that a small group of committed people can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. That's a good question. What was my favorite childhood toy? I need to think about this one. I was a very, very serious child. Even as a kid, I read a lot of books. And what were my favorite toys? I liked early video games, and this will shock folks who are watching this show, but 8-bit video games like Pac-Man. So probably if my Atari 2600 came to life, it would probably say to me, dude, you're really bad at this. I sure have. In fact, I love amateur sport. I love the Olympics. So I have physically been to 6 Olympics, and it is the greatest regret that we didn't get the 2026 Olympics in Calgary. That's my greatest political regret. But I have been to many, many para games, and in fact, one of the funnest events I've done as a politician is the year-end banquet for, I still call it sledge hockey. I know you're supposed to call it para hockey now, but the year-end banquet for sledge hockey, because those guys are a lot of fun. Oh, it would be that Olympics referendum. I mishandled that, I think, as a politician. And although I love the Olympics, I'm going to be very salty in 2026 when we watch the Olympics in Italy because it should have been in Calgary. Oh my gosh. No, no, I don't want to lose any of my limbs. Thank you very much. I think that people think because I can speak well, because I get in front of cameras, that I'm just very comfortable and very slick. But in fact, I think very deeply about people, about the impact that my words will have on people, and in particular, what it means to be a leader. And I think in politics, you don't always see that side, the introspective side of politicians, but I like to think that I cultivate that as well.